2019, a geologist set up a camera near San José del Pacífico to film a rare cloud inversion. When he reviewed the footage, the screen showed a bustling village with cobblestone streets and colonial facades, yet the lens had captured nothing but empty forest, the only proof it existed. His own reflection in the camera's viewfinder. Mateo Rojas knew these mountains like the back of his hand. But this village, Pueblo Espejo, he had never seen it before, not with his eyes, only in reflections. The camera's screen, a mountain pool, the rearview mirror of his truck. When he turned to look, the valley was empty, just mist, just trees. Just the faint scent of copal, incense on the wind. Locals warned him not to go back. They called it El Pueblo Espejo, the mirror town. A place that only exists in reflections. Place where the dead outnumber the living, and if you speak to your reflection there, you might never leave. Mateo didn't believe in ghosts, but the evidence was undeniable. The village was real, just not in the way he thought. The footage wasn't just glitchy, it was impossible. The village appeared in reflections, but the camera's lens, a non-reflective surface, captured nothing. So how was it even there? He set up tripwires, motion sensors, thermal cameras. Nothing detected the village. No heat signatures, no movement, no sound except in recordings. Then, faintly, he could hear it. Voices murmuring, hooves clattering on cobblestones, a distant church bell. But only in reflections, never in the real world. One evening, he knelt by a still pool. The village shimmered beneath the surface, perfect, untouched, frozen in time. He reached out, his fingers breaking the reflection. The water rippled, the village vanished. But for a fleeting moment, he saw a face in a window. A woman, blurred, her mouth moving as if speaking to him. That night, Mateo dreamed of the village. He walked its streets, past adobe houses with wooden balconies, past a dry fountain in the plaza. Shadows moved in doorways. Whispers followed him. And when he passed a shop window, his reflection didn't move with him. It stood still, watching. He woke with his heart pounding. Outside his tent, the forest was silent. But the scent of copal lingered. And when he checked his camera, the village was closer, like it had moved while he slept. In 1978, 3 explorers vanished after speaking to their reflections. Decades later, their voices still echo in the windows of El Pueblo Espejo, but what are they trying to warn us about? Mateo wasn't the first outsider to find the village. That year, a team of anthropologists from Mexico City had come to document the legends. They heard the stories, a village that appeared only in mirrors, where the dead walked among the living. On their third day, they stopped by a mountain stream. Javier, a graduate student, saw something strange in the water. Not just trees and sky, a village. People going about their day. Elena, the team leader, laughed it off. A trick of the light. When she looked up, the village wasn't there. Only the reflection remained. Javier leaned closer. His reflection did the same. Then, without thinking, he spoke. Hola? Hay alguien ahí? His reflection smiled and spoke back. The others didn't hear it, only Javier. He stumbled back, muttering the same phrase over and over. No debí haber hablado. He turned and ran into the mist. They searched for days, but he was never found. Neither were the other 2, who vanished after speaking to their reflections, a car window, a mirror in an abandoned hut. Decades later, their reflections still appear in the windows of El Pueblo Espejo. Locals say if you listen closely, you can hear them. Javier repeating his warning. The others, their voices fading, as if pulled deeper into the mirror. The copal incense isn't just a scent, it's a clue. The village isn't a ghost town. It's a reflection of a town that never stopped dying. Mateo dug through archives in Oaxaca City. He found a single account from 1892, a village in the Sierra Sur where rebels had taken refuge. The Mexican army surrounded them. For 3 days, the villagers held out. On the 4th, the soldiers broke through. What happened next was never fully recorded. A priest's letter spoke of a ritual, a final prayer, as the soldiers stormed in. A plea to the gods of the underworld, to spare them from the sword, to let them live on, in another form. A soldier's diary described villagers vanishing into thin air. Soldiers turning on each other, driven mad by what they saw. The village wasn't abandoned. It was preserved, trapped in the moment of its death. And every time someone spoke to their reflection there, they became part of it. Another voice in the chorus, another shadow in the windows. If you ever find yourself in El Pueblo Espejo, there's only one rule: don't look back. But can you resist the voices calling your name? Mateo knew the risks, but he couldn't turn away. Not after the dreams, the whispers, the way the village seemed to draw closer with every visit. He returned one last time, bringing a small mirror. He placed it on a rock, angled to see the village without looking directly. The streets were alive. People moved in windows. Children played in the plaza. A church bell tolled. He took a step forward. Then another. The village grew larger in the mirror, closer, like it was reaching for him. A voice called his name, not from the mirror, from behind him. He turned. Nothing. Just the forest. Just the mist. But the scent of copal was stronger now, thick enough to taste. And when he looked back at the mirror, his reflection wasn't alone. A woman in a black rebozo stood beside him, her face half hidden. She reached out, her fingers brushing the glass. Mateo stumbled back. The mirror fell, shattering on the rocks. For a moment, the village vanished. Then the pieces began to move. The shards rearranged, the reflection reformed, and in every fragment, the woman's face appeared, smiling, waiting. He ran. Not toward the village, away from it, away from the reflections, away from the voices calling his name. But when he checked his camera later, the village was there again. And this time, his own face wasn't alone. The woman in the rebozo stood beside him. Her lips moved, and though he couldn't hear the words, he knew what she was saying. No dibi haba hablado. Next time you see your reflection, ask yourself, is it really you? Or is it waiting for you to speak first?